That's the book. The rest is appendix. It's very important stuff in the appendix. There's books in the appendix, literally, written by Armencaro and Shahan and other people. And as I said, that very important document, the U.S. Senate resolution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor for questions. I'm going to give up this microphone, so somebody, if they can come up to the front, if you have any questions, we're going to try to answer those. So here is the microphone. Oh, look, this is very convenient. Oh, no, it's I guess not. All right. So if anybody has questions, please come up and ask your questions. And if there are no questions, we're going to... Any questions? Oh, you're going to need to come up here, unfortunately. I know it's always the person at the very back of the room. Alan, you want to come up? Thank you. This is Alan Zortian, by the way. His father was a very good friend of mine, an artist, Barry Zortian. And Jerry, I always say Barry. Barry's your uncle.
My uncle.
Yeah. There you go. I'll borrow this mic.
Yeah, I just wondered, in essence, aren't the Young Turks still in control of Turkey with Erdogan, isn't he a member of the Donne tribe?
I'm not sure about that, but I can tell you that the government itself is a continuation of Mustafa Kemal, so there hasn't been a change in government. So effectively, whoever is a leader in Turkey today is a part of that government. So they are a succeeding government, just like the U.S.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. So yes, that's your question. Okay. Any other questions? You can just put that down. Oh, sure. Alan, go ahead.
Was Rothschild involved in that railroad somehow? I heard something.
Yeah. So the railroad, the Rothschilds, Jacob Schiff was the Rothschilds' representative.
Right.
So anything that Jacob Schiff did was effectively a Rothschild type thing. There was a connection there for sure, because the Schiffs and the Rothschilds actually were from the same house in Germany. There was a big mansion, right, and it was Schiffs and Rothschilds, and they shared this mansion. So yeah, there was a very tight connection. No, that's a historical fact. Yeah. And by the way, okay, Sean, do you want to ask? And when you talk about Schiff and Rothschild, by the way, Adam Schiff, our representative in Congress, he had told a dear friend of mine also, who's no longer with us, Varkes Yeriyagan. Yeah, that was good. That's such a good friend, right? I call him Varkes. He had told Varkes that he was actually related to Jacob H. Schiff. And Adam Schiff, since I've called him out on it, he's never denied it, and he looks just like Jacob Schiff. They look like he's a clone of Jacob Schiff. Yes, Shant.
Ես մի հարցնեմ, որ սկիզբը կարդում էի, բացատրում էի ոնց Շահանը գրել առաջի Հայաստանի անկախ հանրապետությունից, նախ բոլշևիկների հեղափոխությունից։ Իմ համար հետաքրքիր է, կներես մի քիչ թեմայի շրջում եմ, բայց դուք ոնց եք զգում հիմա Աստվածաներ Շահանը ողջ լիներ, կարծում եք ինքը ոնց կվերաբերվեր հիմիկվա Հայաստանի իրավիճակին։
Yeah. Okay, so Shant is asking, I'm going to translate into English for those that don't understand English. He's basically asking about how Shahan would react to the condition today in Armenia if he was alive, and the Bolsheviks, so on and so forth. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. We talk about the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks are the Americans. They're just another asset of the Americans. It's in the book. It's in the book. You can read all about it. Remember, Jacob H. Schiff financed the Bolshevik movement. All those people that were connected, it's all financed, and for a very long time. In fact, I don't know if it's in this book or did I add it, or I don't think I did. It might be in there. When the Red Cross had an aid mission to Russia, they were all businessmen from America setting up offices there, making deals. And that's what it was all about. It was all about the minerals. That they have oil, they have gold, they have all that stuff. So when we talk about somebody who's an asset of Russia, no, they're not an asset. Russia is an asset of the United States, and don't think they're not even today. So it's not a conspiracy. Read the book. It's in there. It connects that whole thing together. They didn't become independent overnight. They'd have to have a revolution for that too. So, anything else? Anybody else have a question? Oh, if Shahan, I'm sorry, I translated his question. If Shahan was here and he saw this, he would not be happy, I can tell you that. He would be very dissatisfied with the situation. He would be very active in countering it, as we have been. So.
Սայսպիկոյի մասին չխոսացիք, այն նույն ադենը, որ ամերիկացիները մասնակցում էին Թուրքիայի բաժանման, մյուս կողմից Սայսպիկոն եւ Լենինը ինչ-որ զենքերը, բաները, այդ մասին բացվեց, որ այդ պատկերը ավելի լրիվ վերջանա։
Yeah, unfortunately in the... Yeah, go ahead.
Եվ մյուս հարցերը, որ ինչքան այս բոլորի բացվելը մեր թիրքերի վրա մինչև հիմա հարութը օրգա, հիմա այդ մեր ուղղությունը բայկարին, մեր հողերի, ձևասպանության, բոլոր քարտերը, որ խարդվում են, ինձ թվում է այս բոլոր հայտնաոտ, բոլոր նորություններ, այնքան նորություն կա, որ երևի գլուխս պտտվում էր, ինչ որ խոսում էիր, ամեն ինչ upside down էր երթում, հիմի պետք է, չգիտեմ, ինչպես այս հարցերը բոլորը օգուտ մեզի դարձնենք և օգնվենք,
So here's basically the gist of the question is, we've discussed all these issues. Exposing them is one thing, talking about them is one thing, but what are we going to do? What can we do to make a change? And I think that really, are there any other questions, by the way? Because I want to answer your question very last as my closing comments. Are there any other questions? Oh, okay. So the Armenian translation is being done. We are hopeful that in April of next year, we will present it in Armenia. And that's where we'll do the presentation. So the Armenian Հայկական տարբերակը հիմա կթարգմանեն, շատ երկար քիրք է, ճիշտն ասած շահանի մույս քիրքերը, որ ունենք հայերեն եւ անգլերեն են արդեն, միայն այս մեկն է, որ շատ փաստաթուղթներ կան, որ գտնվեցան ամերիկական արխիվներում մեջ եւ շահանին արխիվի մեջ, որ անգլերեն լեզվով է. And that's the reason why. So basically there's a lot of documents in here that are in English, and we have to have them translated, and it's a very long, 800 pages is a big job to do. Any other questions before I give some closing comments here? Anybody? Okay, we're going to go to closing comments so we can wrap this up, and we got a lot of nice things in the back to eat and so on and so forth. So, getting back to your question about what can we do? Well, the first thing we need to do is, as it is demonstrated in this book, we have some serious issues. It's called the betrayal, and it's been going on for over 100 years. And the one that's betraying us the most is the United States, as well as Europe, as well as Asia. All these world powers are betraying the Armenians, and the Armenians keep playing right into it. You have Soros, you have this, you have that, and the Armenians just keep playing right into it, thinking, just like the naive Armen Garo and our leaders at that time, thinking they're doing the right thing. Again, their hearts were in the right place, but they didn't understand geopolitics. And we need to have a better understanding of geopolitics. The Armenians, as Haru keeps saying, Haru Tasunyan keeps saying, we have to pursue reparations. But in order to pursue reparations, we have to understand where the reparations coming from. Are they coming from Turkey? Well, yeah, but guess what? They're going to come from the U.S. $1.5 trillion in reparations need to come right from here. And that, we're just talking about the minerals. We're not talking about the lives lost. We're talking trillions of dollars just from the U.S. And we have to also understand who brought the Turks to power and who still controls the Turks? The U.S. That was their regime. They put them in power. So what do we need to do? We need to start working from the inside out. And the inside is here, the United States. And how do we do this? We have to elect Armenians to office. So we have Johnny Nalbandian. He's running this in 2020 for the 27th district. Pasadena, he's with us tonight. And we have other Armenians that are running. And I'm not saying this is an Armenian issue either, by the way. As I said in the very beginning, this is a world issue. This is the Middle East conflict today. It's right here. This is the roadmap to what we've been seeing in the Middle East. And with that, I'm going to announce one other thing we can do. I am registered now to run for Congress in the 28th district, right here where we're standing. This is the district. I registered yesterday. And for those of you who live in the 27th district and you are registered voters in the 27th district, 28th district, I am collecting nomination signatures here. So if you live in the 28th district and you want to nominate me to Congress, I only need to get 40 legitimate signatures. I plan to get 400 just to measure the support that I should hopefully get. But my platform is not Armenia, just so you know. It's already been done. My platform is the regime change wars, fighting against that. Healthcare, we have our issues here. There's a lot of issues. I won't even get into the platform right now. And we're going to go a little hippie on this one. I don't know if anybody knows the song that Cat Stevens wrote, Peace Train. So Johnny has the Johnny Jet, Trump had the Trump train, Ara's going to have the Peace Train. And we want everyone to get on board the Peace Train. And we're going to look for peace amongst the world, not just here in the United States of America. So this is what we need to do. We need to get people to register right now. It's not too late. You have until the 6th of December to gather up 40 signatures. Find a district that you can run in. I'm doing the 28th because I live here. But if you know people that live in these other districts, get them on board. And Johnny's not making it an Armenian issue. I'm not going to make it an Armenian issue because it's a world issue. And it's what's going on here and amongst us, the way we're living, and what's affecting people outside of the United States, most importantly. We have to stop this madness.
We are all connected.
Yes, we are. Yes, Alan.
I mean, what about teaching kids this history, which is not taught to them?
So,
Maybe in Armenian school, I know they're not going to teach it in public school.
well, you'd be surprised. Right now, we're working on a documentary based on this book, and I'm hoping that maybe we can get Netflix or something, because Netflix does not just stick to the United States. You can get financing from Netflix. We don't need much financing anyway. I've already got video editors that are ready to do this stuff, and people in the movie industry that are professionals ready to put this stuff together on their spare time for almost free. So this is something that we're seriously working on, and we want to make this thing happen. But the change starts with us. And just in this room alone, there's a lot of change that can be made. And that's why we are not powerless. We are very powerful when we're united, and we have to unite around justice and the rights of us, the people that live on this earth. This is a human issue. That's it. Thank you. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up now. We're going to talk amongst ourselves and so on, and I do encourage you again, purchasing of this book does help us carry on the work that we're doing and so on. So you're not only helping yourself to educate yourself, but you're also helping us to finance future projects. Thank you so much for coming.
I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Oh, wait. One more question. I'm sorry. So this is Margarita, and she's going to ask her question.
Ես հայերեն եմ ուզում ասել։
Խնդրեմ։
Շնորհակալ անգլերեն եմ կարող, բայց հայերեն եմ ուզում ասել։ Ես ուզում եմ ձեր կարծիքը իմանամ հիմիկվա Միացյալ Նահանգների դերը Հայաստանում։ Եթե այն ժամանակ մանիպուլյացիաների միջոցով քանդել են փաստերեն երկիրը, հիմա ինչ դեր ունի Միացյալ Նահանգները։
Okay, so
Ձեր կարծիքը ինձ համար շատ կարևոր է։
and I do have an opinion about this. Okay, so the question was, today in modern times, what role does the United States have on Armenia today? The United States, sadly, is a destructive entity in Armenia. I lived there for many years, as most of you know, and I monitored U.S. aid. And the U.S. aid that goes into Armenia is not helpful, but it's destructive. They have their programs, very specific programs, until now. I'll just give you an example. USAID, through the, I'm trying to remember which department it was, but they used an Armenian organization called Land and Culture. No, it was the one in Fresno. There's an agricultural, I can't remember the name now. They brought in tons of seed, wheat seed, to Armenia. And the farmers went and they got this wheat seed for free, but they had to go to the banks and borrow money to buy diesel fuel and to rent tractors and so on and so forth. Well, the seeds that they sent were not appropriate for the lands that they were being provided for. And people lost their homes, people lost all their money, their life savings, and the banks took it and so on and so forth. And this was the United States. And when I approached the guy that was involved, his name is Varujan, he's in Fresno. So Armenian Technology, not Armenian Technology Group, I'm trying to remember, Armenian Agricultural Group or something like that. So when I approached him and asked him, he goes, oh, but we did tests in the Ararat Plain and the stuff worked great. I said, yeah, but the Ararat Plain is irrigated land. They actually have irrigation systems there. But you're sending it to Artsakh, and they're putting them in these fields that they hope that it's going to rain, and they're thinking they're going to get 10 tons per hectare of grain, and they get nothing. They get half a ton, and that doesn't even come anywhere close to what they borrowed money-wise. So there's these types of programs which are disastrous to Armenia. Or, for instance, Armenia, when it first became independent, they received money from the IMF, from the International Monetary Fund, for structural reforms, for democracy. And it was money just given to them. They gave it to them 1 year. They gave it to them the second year. The third year they said, oh, you guys are not using this money properly. We're not going to give it to you anymore. Well, the government was already, this was during Leonid Bedrosian's time, the government already was accustomed to getting this money. Well, what do we have to do? Well, we have this program you can get into. It's called structural reform. You guys are in debt. So what you need to do is you need to make some changes. We'll give you money, but you have to start cutting back on things. So they cut back from education. They were spending $600 per student. They cut it back to $30 on education, okay? And they were forced to do that because it was the government that wanted that money, and the money still didn't get used properly. So the United States government is a disaster anywhere it goes. Anywhere, and it's intentionally has a system to destroy countries. And why? Because it brings you to this country. And guess who you're going to be working for and paying your taxes and you're going to be enslaved to. And you're going to be grateful because you came from this country that you don't understand, that the United States had a hand in destroying and making it corrupt and making it all this types of thing, right? What about my hunger strike? 2013, I had a hunger strike because President Obama congratulated Serge Sarkisian, who clearly was not legitimately elected. And I went from Burbank in front of Adam Schiff's office all the way across country to Washington, D.C. I didn't eat for 26 days, 24 officially. And I concluded my hunger strike when I started getting blood from my kidneys coming. My doctor told me, you need to really think about stopping at that point. Unfortunately, Garakin II blessed the election, and I concluded my hunger strike. But the whole point is, the United States is a destructive entity, a destructive creature, or whatever you want to call it, to the world. And every country they go into, it's a disaster, except for maybe a few.
Yeah. What is our role?
So our role, as I said, is we need to unite, and we need to elect people into Congress, into the Senate, into government, because this is the government that controls the world. And Armenia is not exempt to that. And it's not going to change tomorrow, because there's people out there that believe that the United States is, USA plus Armenia equals freedom. Well, it doesn't. It equals slavery. That's the reality. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.